What's up, y'all? So, we are back with another instant analysis, this time from Hawks vs Knicks Game 3, one of my favorite games from these opening round in the playoffs, because again, Atlanta escaping by the skin of their teeth with a 1-point victory. Somewhat of a similar story with the previous game, because not only was it close, CJ hit yet another game winner, although this time, Atlanta controlled a lot of aspects, and it wasn't until late in the fourth where they had a lot of things going great for them. Now, I gotta give credit to the Hawks for executing down the stretch because not everything was perfect, obviously, but they did just enough, especially on that final possession. Shout out Kuminga, shout out almost everyone on those rotations, stifling Jalen Johnson, forcing a tough pass that eventually slipped out of Hart's hands. Because seriously, even though this was Atlanta's best performance in the series so far, they could have easily lost this one as well. Just a couple of wrong things going their way, and this best performance might have gone to waste. So, doesn't matter how ugly it is a win at the end of the day. And yeah, I just want to start giving praise to the Atlanta personnel. A lot of the successful results came from their efforts, and some did come from New York's flaws because, my goodness, they do have a lot of things going wrong for them. But we shall first start with CJ McCollum. My goodness, I remember a couple months ago, or at least in the early parts of the season, I made a couple of videos back when he was on the Wizards, and it was terrible. Like, vibes were awful, but holy cow, man. Atlanta CJ, what a way to flip the page. I mean, whenever he got the ball, it really seems like you were always gonna get the best possession out of him. CJ was constantly searching for the best shot possible, constantly hunting Brunson on the mismatch, which we knew that was to be expected. It all just comes down with how efficient will he be when guarded by Brunson, and it seems like he's hitting almost every shot. Like, it's working to perfection. If he's not getting some buckets, he'll drive down the lane and do some nice kick-out passes a couple of times. And Atlanta definitely did miss his scoring presence whenever he was sitting on the bench. Like, the offense didn't suddenly drop off a cliff, but it didn't have that same efficient effect. So when CJ inevitably came back, it was not the best position to come back in, but oh boy, did he definitely do his part. And one last thing, the amount of swipes that he had, my goodness, his instincts. There was a good amount, like 3 or 4 successful steals resulting from those instincts. That is insanely tough to do. Like 99% of the time, you get called for a foul on that. Now, CJ reached his hands in the cookie jar and he came away with some cookies. So also there was a moment in this game where CJ kind of pulled a Josh Hart on Josh Hart, like only for one possession, but that was kind of funny to watch. Another guy I want to shout out is Jonathan Kuminga. If it wasn't CJ sparking the momentum, it was certainly Kuminga coming up next. I mean, almost everything you could think of that could ignite the crowd, he did that. When Atlanta had to rely on him to nail a couple of big perimeter shots, he did that. When a drive or post-up was necessary, he performed that. Like, he fulfilled that task almost seamlessly, even hustling and crashing the glass. He only had 2 offensive rebounds, but I am not exaggerating when I said those 2 offensive rebounds are probably the loudest ones you would have seen from that game. And the defense, his defense was honestly kinda elite to the point where Quinn Snyder trusted him to be assigned with Cat. Like, that's not easy. I mean, he didn't lock down Cat per se. Big Purr still got his big drives to the rim. But in terms of just pushing the big man out, making him as uncomfortable as possible, once again, Kuminga was the right guy to step up. Even just switching and communicating. We're witnessing so many occasions where he's just getting after it. Just the effort and intensity. Like, you could tell he was hungry for it. Seriously, just loved it. Like, I cannot emphasize how much that hunger really benefited the Hawks, because when we switch over to Mr. Jalen Johnson, my guy, if your team would have lost, easily you would have been the #1 culprit. I mean, maybe not easily, but you were definitely going to be the one to take the most spotlight, because man, in terms of just how much they want the ball or how much they wanted to take over, Kuminga and Johnson's attitudes were definitely flipped, or at least on the opposite sides. Now, Johnson overall wasn't terrible, obviously. He still hit some big time shots. He even had a really crazy sequence where, despite the cat denial, he got his own putback. But gosh, just my biggest gripe with him was there were many times where he just wasn't announcing his presence enough. Like, yes, CJ was cooking, and due to that cooking, he was also getting doubled and trapped. This wasn't every possession, but there were a couple times where he just wasn't that aggressive enough. He wasn't demanding the ball or being too earnest of helping his guy out. Not saying he was silent, but he was definitely reserved. Not just offensively, defensively. Oh my goodness. That's my second biggest gripe, because almost everyone in the community was like, what happened to Jalen Johnson defensively? I was like, dang, is it really that bad? Looking at this game, yes, it was that bad. And I don't want to like keep piling on the guy or sound too harsh, but the reason why this kind of makes me so jumpy right now, I guess if that's the right word, was because the times where his defense came up flat were in really crucial moments. Granted, New York didn't target him 24/7, but for sure, there were at the very least, a couple of significant times of Johnson getting blown by that happened to ruin some momentum because Atlanta, they were definitely the benefactor of many good scoring runs, yet he does that, and you cannot afford that. In my opinion, it happened too much to the point where New York could possibly target him, honestly. I wouldn't be surprised. Sure, the Knicks have had some success trying to put CJ on an island, but noticing just how weak Jalen is with his point of attack defense, New York could capitalize that as well. I wouldn't be surprised if we see even more off the dribble drives in Game 4. So to summarize, yeah, it was just really disappointing to see Johnson's effort. It's one thing for suffering on offense, but I would say it's even more of a worry, more of a point to stress about defensively. Dyson Daniels and Onyeka Okongwu both have been tasked with almost impossible challenges. They have caused havoc successfully. Let's say one of them is in foul trouble, or God forbid some injury occurs. You can't really look into Atlanta's bench and expect much more help on the defensive end. That's also going to cut Atlanta down. Also, Jalen Johnson missing his free throws. Come on, man, you gotta work on that. But as I stated before, a dub is a dub. Atlanta can celebrate this victory. I'm not sure if they can shoot that well from 3 again this series. I mean, when Mikal banked in that 3 in the second quarter, I'm like, ooh, not even banking in that 3. When Dyson Daniels hit that 3, New York is in for a spicy time. And as we switch over to New York's side, what a terrible start. That start was costly because yes, they put their heads down and they grinded. They fought their way back to the 4th. Deuce McBride, OG Anunoby, what heroes they are. They should deserve as many pats on the back as possible. And no doubt you had the chance to survive this Atlanta early onslaught and come home with the victory, but that early start did not help, right? Like, they still got some points on the board, but just the overall mood and behavior, body language, very sluggish. You know who could have helped? Mikal Bridges. Oh wow, 0 for 3. I talk about Jalen Johnson being silent. Mikal Bridges, I don't even know the term. Like, he was even more silent. We can go with that. Inexcusable. He didn't even see any minutes in crunch time. It was mostly Deuce McBride. We'll see if he comes out next game with a chip on the shoulder, but yeah, that was not great. Also, some, I guess not blame, but I will say I was confused with Coach Brown's decision. Mitchell Robinson only played 11 minutes and 30 seconds, but I thought he was so great. Maybe he was worried about Hacka Mitch in this situation, but Mitchell Robinson, he was doing what he usually does well, grabbing offensive rebounds. His defensive performance was great too. I felt like that was the type of energy New York needed more, yet he didn't see the rest of the floor. So those type of scenarios just add more to the confusion I had with the lack of Robinson minutes. Also, the Knicks bench, aside from McBride, I mean, Alvarado, he at least put up some fight in the first half, I can give him that, but he didn't knock down his shots the rest of the game. Jordan Clarkson, he tried to do his best Stephon Castle impression a couple of times. I don't know if it even worked a single, maybe one, but yeah, I'd much rather prefer if he was more of that kind of glue guy, dirty work, going over the screens. Like, he kind of did that in game 1 and near the end of the regular season. Josh Hart also really struggled offensively, and it sucked because, well, if you're a Hawks fan, it didn't suck at all, but Hart was doing everything so well, rebounding, defending. He just needed that one final, whether it was a 3 or just some shot to go down. He went 1 for 9. But alas, just wasn't good enough. We'll see how next game goes, but man, this series along with Minnesota and Denver, it's such a beauty. NBA playoffs, thank you. Before we wrap up this video, I guess I can give a quick preview of my thoughts of Cavs and Raptors. Honestly, not much because I thought Raptors were going to lose this one. That's on me for not checking earlier though. I only saw the 4th quarter spurt essentially from Jamison Battle. 14 points all in the 4th quarter, 5 of 5 I believe from long range. Holy cow, what an explosion, right? This dude, last time I checked, he was getting DMPs. I mean, I know for next game, we're definitely going to see him over AJ Lawson, that's for sure. Also, Colin Murray-Boyles, phenomenal as a rookie in his playoff debut. Can't get much better than that. So yeah, that's really good momentum shifter. Yeah, a lot of people, including me, I thought this series was over. We all thought that it was heading towards a sweep. Maybe a 5-game scenario at best. It could still happen if Toronto doesn't take care of business in game 3, but definitely something positive Toronto can hang their hats on. Series ain't over yet. That's their main message. And as for Minnesota and Denver, last time I checked, Minnesota was up 20 plus in the second quarter. Yeah, that's the video. Let me know what you guys think. Had a lot of fun recording this, had a lot of fun watching this, and I hope you had a lot of fun enjoying this. So, see you next time.